Hey Max, hope you're having a wonderful day. I've put this video together as Sebastian has instructed me to go over the campaign that we're proposing to build for ECAV. Now, before we begin and get into the different areas of the campaign that we're proposing to build, I just wanted to cover what we're trying to achieve for your business based on our discovery call. So the first is generating more leads for government and corporate projects. You've identified that these people have a need and have a want for your solutions and your services, and you're wanting a way to get to them and obviously bring them across to your website and convert them into leads. The second is targeting the fit out companies that already have established relationships with these types of corporate businesses. They're obviously doing refurbishments, and we're wanting to arm these people with, I guess, sales materials so they can go and facilitate a sale or make a connection and build a relationship with those people, so they can recommend us as the service provider to use when considering AV technology. And the third is obviously rebuilding or revamping your website so that it is user-centric and it educates people on the problems that they have with their current setup, offers a solution to those problems, and motivates them to take action through supportive material. So they're the three things that I guess we are trying to achieve from your marketing campaigns. Let's jump in and start off with the biggest lever item, which is your website. So before this call, I've taken the time to do like a deep discovery analysis of your current site setup. Obviously looked at competitor sites just to see what we can learn, see what areas they're stronger in, what they're doing well as opposed to us. And I've found some key things that I believe we need to work on when rebuilding our site to make it lead generation capable and make it user friendly. So just to be clear on what a website is and what it needs to do for your business, essentially it's your physical storefront. So it's where people go to, find out who you are, what you can help them with. The goal of a website is to attract qualified traffic, earn their trust throughout the buying process, educate them on the problems they have, offer solutions that are applicable or relevant to those problems, and in turn generate leads. So it should essentially cover the whole sales cycle. In addition to that, a website should be easy to use, navigate, and should be user friendly. So it should be built for that prospect, so they can get the information they need when they need it most. And also, we need to take into consideration the technical aspect of a website these days. It needs to be fast loading, device responsive, and attractively designed. So in a nutshell, a website should have all the pieces within it to facilitate the sale or to take a prospect from where they are to where they need to be. And that's what we call the buying journey. So after I completed my analysis of ECAV, I sort of took the analysis from a marketing point of view, put my marketing hat on, and also from a customer's point of view, and tried to understand what we were doing well and what we weren't doing well. And I noted that the major issue with your current site setup is that it's a brochure style website. So brochure style websites were usually created for B2B businesses, those who have complex products, complex sales cycles. They were usually used to self-promote the business, consisted of a very basic website structure. Over time had things added to it, which obviously made things a lot more complex. Lacked a lot of sales content needed to facilitate the sale for a customer. And I guess the thing that they were great for is for those customers that were really well educated on their problems and what solutions they needed. So they were later on in the buying cycle, and they could sort of go in there, get what they needed, and then possibly turn into a lead. But it's not fantastic for those who are earlier on in the buying cycle, who need to educate themselves on the problems, the solutions that you offer, get an understanding and build a relationship with your business, so you can be shortlisted and possibly be the company they choose at the point of when they make a buying decision. So a poor user experience nowadays is one of the leading causes to low sales, inconsistent sales as well. So you might find that your leads are up 1 month, down the next. Lost opportunities. So a lot of early adopters, people earlier in the buying cycle, might come to your site, peck around for a bit, not find what they're looking for, get frustrated and bounce. We call that a lost sales opportunity. And it also hinders your ability to scale and grow. So you're not getting those consistent leads month in, month out, then you can't devise a plan to scale your lead generation strategy. And that's probably because your website is letting you down. So I guess the solution for us and what we're looking to build for eCav is that user-centric website. It's built around a particular customer or customers. It's to accommodate their needs, and obviously have everything there for them to facilitate research, being educated on what you offer, building trust and authority, and getting them to where they need to be, which is a sale or a lead in the quickest way possible. And we build our websites around a concept called the path to least resistance, because we want to try and lower the time it takes from a lead to turn into a sales opportunity for you guys. So the areas that we want to focus on when rebuilding eCav's site is, I guess, improving the site navigation. So first of all, site navigation takes into consideration a whole site map. And we propose to create a new site map for you guys so that we can understand the flow between pages. We can set up a hierarchy categorization setup where we have the top priority pages and then our internal pages within. And we're creating these mini pathways for visitors to go through down their funnel so that they can obviously discover more and more information as they go through that buying journey. We also want to work on your menu setup, the naming convention of things. I noted that we've sort of bundled solutions and industries in one, and then we've got your priority needs as a separate drop down. Not too sure what that means in a customer's perspective. So we need to get really clear about our naming convention and possibly add an additional section to your site that will come from that site map that I just spoke to you about, where we split up solutions and industries. I believe because you sell a complex product and service, your customers will be looking at it and searching for it in various ways. Obviously, if they come from a particular industry, they'll be searching for solutions within that industry. Or if they're more familiar with the solutions that you offer and the types of setups you offer for these businesses, then they can go in and find it via your solutions tab. So we need to get a bit more clear on our naming convention and obviously implement the sections that we are missing so that we can fill that gap of those who are trying to search for a solution in a particular way. I guess the next thing after we sort of look at improving the navigation and user experience of your site, we'll look at the sales and landing pages. And on those pages, we also look at persuasive copy. So sales pages are essentially pages that focus on one problem, one solution. They use to educate a prospect and generate a lead. So they have that goal in mind. And they really dive into the issues that prospective customer is having, because we really want to agitate them. And then we want to sort of position ourselves as the authority where we're educating them on, I guess, the benefits of our solution and how it can help them overcome their problems. Within those sales pages, and I currently think you've got these solution pages set up as your sales pages, we need to have persuasive copy for that ideal customer. So we're going to work on how we sort of position our copy, how we position our message to market here, how we can connect with them in the least amount of words possible, because we don't want to inundate them with large slabs of text, and how we're going to motivate them to take action, because that's essentially what we want them to do. The other thing we want to look at when creating these sales pages is, I guess, grouping information. And the best way we can do that is working on headlines. Now, headlines are fantastic for A, drawing customers in, because they sort of sum up what the page is about, and B, if a customer was to skim through the page, they can essentially get a good idea of what this page is about from those headlines. And as I can see from your sales page, we only have the main hero headline at the top here, and then there's nothing beneath except for the text that sort of separates each section. And I guess key bits of text can get lost quite easily. So the results we can achieve is probably a very important section on this page, so that people can understand the benefits of what your solution can do. But it can be easily missed because there's no, I guess, typography hierarchy here, where people can see, okay, this is the headline, this is the content beneath. It's all in one section, and I can get a good feel for what I'm about to read about. So I guess the next thing after that, and what we'll do with these sales pages, is we want to build the story with images and videos. A couple of your competitors are using videos to their advantage. Videos are fantastic for keeping customers engaged, and you can get a lot of information across in a very short window. So we would possibly be looking at creating some videos for these pages, and also the images that we use to try and tell the story. We'll see if we can move away from stock images and use high quality images that are taken on site, and to give people, I guess, a understanding of what's going on in the background of ECAV, so they can sort of build that credibility and trust with your brand, and see who's behind, I guess, the solutions that you provide. The next thing we will be working on with regards to these sales pages is the layout of the page. So obviously structuring the content in a way that it reveals the most important content first, and that will be based on the customer's hierarchy of needs. And that way we can keep them engaged throughout the page, because the worst thing we can do is, I guess, not lead with the most important content and they're not engaged or interested and they bounce. We want to get them as far down the page as we can. And then secondly, we obviously want to take into consideration white spacing, how we're going to lay out key sections, and eliminate distractions from the page that sort of take away from the conversion goal. And just to point out a distraction that I noted on this page is, I guess, this side tab here. It's quite invasive in terms of how it's positioned next to the content. There's a lot of colors going on. It can be very distracting, and if I was to read this page, my eye bounces from content to this tab here that you've got, where you're, I guess, revealing some pathways or benefits, and also recent projects. So we need to be really clever about what type of information we serve first, and create that flow of information. People want to, I guess, read about recent projects later on when they understand, the problem, the solution, how you can help, the benefits, and then, who's done it before me, so they can validate that your services work, and they're not going to get strung up by a company that is going to implement a service or system that doesn't achieve their results. So we need to get really clever about that and eliminate all distractions from the conversion goal. I guess the next thing we also want to implement is conversion elements on the page. CTAs that stand out. There's a lot of hyperlinks within this page, and I guess the CTA is sort of buried in this tab here. That's got to do with a color choice as well, and also I guess the CTA that you're sort of relying on is a request a quote. So we can use CTAs throughout the page to try and get people to jump through that hoop and get to the next stage in the conversion process. And I think we need to establish what that next step is. A call might be too early on in the funnel to try and get someone to, to get them on the phone and get them to call you guys. So, maybe a request a quote is better, or maybe a consultation that they can book in right then and there on the page. I'm not too sure what that might be, but the better we can target our CTAs to be the next step in the funnel, will have a better impact on results for us. And then lastly, also offering additional information to facilitate the sales. So you do a bit of that when it comes to recent projects. That's great for people to try and get an understanding of who it's worked for in the past, but also additional information in terms of maybe how-tos, research papers, white papers, blogs, any additional information that the prospect needs to make an informed buying decision. And also things like FAQs are very important on sales pages, because we want to try and overcome those objections that they're having that's sort of stopping them from contacting ECAV in the form of a lead or picking up the phone and giving you guys a call. So after we work on those sales pages, they'll probably be the main makeup of the site. That's where a lot of the selling is done. So we'll spend a lot of time there. We obviously want to take into consideration responsive design. So responsive design means we need to create a website that works well on desktop, mobile, and tablet. Now, the reason we do that is because over 60% of traffic uses mobile. And the counter argument here is, okay, well, my business works with corporates, and corporates are at their desk looking at the computer all day. They don't use their mobile. Well, they do, because it's highly likely that they might go from viewing your site at work when they get that job in. They need to do some sort of research about a solution that they're looking for, but then they may go home and open up your website on their mobile phone to gather some further information, drop some notes in, etc. So we don't want to provide a bad user experience for when that happens, because that might deter them from working with us. So we need to make sure that your website is responsive on all devices. And this also comes into play when we're talking about traffic generation. We don't want to provide a bad user experience if we're going to be paying for traffic, because that will A, bump our click costs up, and B, obviously increase our bounce rate. So that means people will come to the site. If they're not liking what they see on different devices, they will opt out, and you've paid for that click, and now that's just a lost opportunity. So we really need to take that in consideration. We will be building a site that's fully responsive on all devices. Moving down, with regards to your website, content strategy is going to be a big piece of the puzzle as well. Because you do offer complex services, there's a lot of education that needs to happen. Education and research is probably one of the major sections within that buyer's journey before someone shortlists you guys and wants to get into contact with you. So prospects go through that intensive buying process, where they're trying to educate themselves on the problems you can help them solve. So we need to create valuable and resourceful content on the site that's ready for them to digest, and we will help you create that content. And it's content that's based around their buying triggers, their pain points, their common problems, their goals, related questions of the right people and from the right companies. So we're always focused on that ideal customer and how we can help them. And that's essentially what the content strategy is going to be positioned around. This will facilitate the sale, and we can also generate leads from content as well. So obviously now you're currently relying on a lead filling out a form or giving you a call. They're very late in their buying cycle. We can password protect content and generate leads for valuable resources that people will hand their contact information over for. And this is fantastic because it sort of segments them. Your sales team can see what information they've interacted with or what they've downloaded, and then you can follow up accordingly because you have that lead intelligence. The next thing I wanted to talk to you about with regards to that content strategy is how we're going to, store it on your website. And we usually use knowledge base centers. These are third-party applications or plugins that we can implement just to categorize your resources, make it super easy for a prospect to go in there and find exactly what information they're looking for. It also gives us the opportunity to display resources on sales pages as well. And the major benefit to you with regards to a knowledge base is that you get the intelligence and the data tracking from it, because it's got this backend dashboard built in. You can see who's interacting with what, what pages are getting visited the most, what resources are getting downloaded the most, and then we can sort of use that intelligence to build better resources moving forward, or we can build more of those resources that are getting, I guess, viewed more often. And then lastly, we want to sort of close the loop here and look at lead generation infrastructure. So lead generation infrastructure is especially important because until someone, I guess, takes an action on your website, they're just an anonymous visitor. So we want to put everything in place that we can in order to get them to hand over their details so that we can profile them and we can follow up with them, and they become a good resourceful lead for us. And I guess what we want to pre-build into the site is CTAs, pop-ups, forms on each page, and everything will be targeted to that page as well, so it's relevant to the customer, and possibly a live chat. I'm not too sure if we do want to go down that path, but live chats are a fantastic way to generate new leads. Obviously, you're giving people information right then and there when they're asking for it, and live chats these days can have forms inbuilt in them so they can capture the lead, and that'll go straight to your CRM or your salespeople. I guess with lead infrastructure, we will work on how many fields we have in forms, what we're trying to capture from that lead, and the more information we can capture, the better it's going to be for your sales team to follow up with. I guess the less data we have, it's going to be hard for us to qualify them, see what they're interested in, and follow up in a personalized way. So this way we can sort of shorten the lead cycle because we're gathering more information about the people who need our services. So I guess that's website wrapped up in what we're proposing to build for you. And I guess the next thing we need to work on is the traffic generation strategy. So first of all, I guess you're wanting to go after these fit out companies. So they're the ones that are obviously winning the work. They're getting to the customers that we want. So if we can get to them, then we will devise a plan in order for us to get into communications with their customers and have them recommend us to them at the point where they're considering their meeting rooms and setting up AV communications and all that sort of stuff. So with your help, I guess we will look to establish a list of companies, ideal fit companies that we can go after, and profile those companies to an extent, understand who they are, what problems they have, what areas of the market they focus in, what areas they go and service, etc. And to give us a really good understanding of who they are will allow us to build advertising that really connects with them. What we'll do is use a omni-channel advertising approach. And omni-channel is a multi-platform approach essentially, and that gives us the best chance of generating awareness and getting in front of these people and being seen over the competition. So if we can be seen on multiple platforms, we'll be able to hopefully get them over to our website and start that communication with these guys. So I guess once on the site and once we've done our job with the traffic generation strategy for fit out companies, we will need to deliver educational content that delivers the reasons and the benefits of offering AV as an add-on service for their business, or when's the right time for them to go and tell their customers about it, and I guess why quality of products when these corporate businesses are doing refurbishments and fit outs of office spaces, why quality matters. So if we can give them enough educational material to, I guess, get them to understand the benefits and why they should promote AV services to their customers and what the effect of that's going to be, then it's going to put us in a really good position. And we said in our discovery call that we were going to do that through, I guess, training material. So that could be blogs, white papers, articles, etc., even brochures, and also a webinar. So we will help you come up with a webinar that we can use to educate these people and generate leads by having them sign up. So it's a really good approach. Then we will also need to consider how we're going to incentivize these fit out companies on why they should recommend us to their clients. You know, what's in it for them? It's got something to do with dollars? Has it got something to do with better relationships with their customers? Is it got something to do with more long-term business? I think we need to really identify what that is, and that's going to be the big lever for us to use as an incentive for these guys to just get them over the line. Because unfortunately, these days, no one sort of does things out of goodwill. We need to sort of persuade them and motivate them on, why they should recommend eCav, and I guess arm them with the sales material that they can go into a conversation with one of their clients with, and pass along a brochure or something that gives their clients a really good comprehensive understanding of why they should consider AV solutions and why eCav is the best solution provider to work with. And I guess the second side of things when it comes to traffic generation, I'm not too sure if we're going to go after these people initially, but I think it's a very good idea if we do, is going after the corporate offices or corporate businesses directly. So we will look to do the same thing where we profile these guys, get an understanding of who they are, and create a campaign that's targeted to them, and use their problems to, I guess, get them to put their hands up, generate awareness in the search engines, and get them to click on our advertising so they can come across to our website. In our discovery call, we did discover that these guys are having problems with the hybrid work setup. So I think that's a fantastic angle that we can use. And how the manager is struggling to host meetings. So we need to get our communication dialed in to these decision makers within the company. And you also mentioned that CFAs have a major role in the decision-making process. So, there might be two sets of advertising going on here, one to reach the managers and one to reach the CFAs within businesses. And the message will be slightly different, but we're going to be obviously offering the same sort of solution. And I guess the benefit of us building a user-centric site for these guys is the fact that once they come to our site, everything is built for them. So they'll have all the educational material they need. They'll be able to understand how we can help them better than other companies. This will build a relationship with these guys and hopefully get them to the point where they're taking action on our website, submitting a form, getting into contact with us, etc. And I guess the last thing that we need to consider and what we're proposing here is pipeline management. So we're proposing an automated email campaign to effectively manage your lead pipeline because let's face it, not everyone is ready to buy from the get-go. So, after a couple of consults with these businesses, they still might be on the fence, and we don't want to drop off. We don't want to let them go cold. So it's essential for us to have a automated campaign in place just so that we're making regular touch points with these people, offering them advice, offering them more educational material, incentivizing them to take action, building the trust with them and authority through a sequence that happens over, maybe a 4-week period, 6-week period, etc. That way we can really, really get the most out of our leads, making sure that we're squeezing the maximum value out of these guys, because we don't want to be paying high click costs to generate the traffic over to our website, to get them in as a lead and then lose them on the back end. So we need to consider pipeline management as well, and an automated email campaign can be easily set up. We will write all the emails, so we'll map out each step in the funnel, write the emails that need to go out to these prospects, and then over time we can build on those, maybe create further email campaigns based on different segments, and really create a really nice funnel there so that your close rate is starting to improve, and also we're shortening the lead cycle from being maybe 3 months to 2 months to 1 month. So Max, that's essentially what we're proposing for eCav, based on the goals that eCav is trying to achieve with their new marketing efforts. So I hope that was insightful and resourceful. And if you do have any questions regarding any of the information that I covered in this video, please give us a call. Sebastian and I are happy to walk you through or answer any queries that you may have. But once again, I hope this is giving you a really comprehensive look on what we're proposing to build for ECAV, and we really do hope that we work together in the near future. So have a great day, Max. I'm signing off for now, and hopefully we'll chat soon.